Hey everyone, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with an exciting book tag for FebRegency, and that's the FebRegency Book Tag. This was created with Christy Lewis, Dostoevsky in Space, Emma from The Bookish Princess, and Tristan from Tristan and the Classics. And all of us are hosting FebRegency this month. So the first question is to name your top 3 Regency authors, and this one was actually kind of hard for me because I've actually not read that much Regency era work. My niche is more like Victorian literature. So my very obvious stereotypical answer is going to be Jane Austen. She is the one who got me into Regency era work, and I think she's just timeless. I would also say Sir Walter Scott. I read Ivanhoe for the first FebRegency. Really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. And also Mary Shelley. I love the way her brain works and her writing style. Next is name your top 3 Regency poets. This is a whole lot easier for me. For my English degree, my favorite professor, Dr. Yoder, loved the Romantic poets, and I took as many classes with him as I could. So we read a lot of Romantic era poetry. I think my number 1 would be William Wordsworth. I just have so many special memories with his work, and it's just so lyrical and lovely, and I love his nature writing in his poetry. I also, William Blake, again, just really good memories around his poetry, and the Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience with the plates that he did himself are stunning, and I'm just in awe of what he did with that work. I think it's just beautiful. And finally, Keats. He's fabulous. He's got such great poetry, and it's so lyrical on just such a range of topics. So all 3 of them highly recommend. And poetry would be a great way to celebrate FebRegency. Just reading one poem, you've participated. So it's a great introduction to Regency era literature. Number 3 is favorite historical event that happened during this time period in Britain or elsewhere. And this was hard for me because I'm not a huge history person, but I did a little digging, and I think the one that has really stuck with me the most and that I think about the most is abolitionism and William Wilberforce. There is a great movie, Amazing Grace. I'm not a religious person, but I really loved that movie, and I thought it had some really good messages. So I think it's one that appeals to all people. And it's about abolishing the slave trade in Great Britain. And it's just a really fascinating story, and it played Amazing Grace on bagpipes. And like I said, I'm not a religious person, but Amazing Grace on bagpipes makes me sob every time. There's just something so beautiful about it. So it's definitely an interesting time period to read about. Number 4, the year is 1816. It's a dark and stormy night on Lake Geneva. You're telling ghost stories with 3 legendary writers. Who are they? Bonus points if they're Regency era writers. So this one was really hard for me. I chose some authors that are kind of all over. So my first one would be Dostoevsky. His short stories are fabulous. They're poignant. They can be funny. I think there's a ghost in Crime and Punishment. So I just think ghost stories from him would be amazing. I also chose Mary Shelley, just what she did with Frankenstein, and the fact that Frankenstein actually came from her sitting around Lake Geneva with other Regency era writers, and they were telling stories, and that was the birth of Frankenstein. I think it would just be so fun to see just what else would come out of her brain and her creativity. And I also picked Stephen Graham Jones. I've read Mongrels and The Only Good Indians by him, and he has such a great way of telling stories that just stick with you. And even though both of those books are stylistically different, I was really thinking The Only Good Indians. There was something really special about that book, and I read it a couple years ago, and it's really stuck with me, and it was so haunting and gripping. I just think he would be so amazing. It would be so cool to just sit around and listen to him tell ghost stories, and just the way that he speaks and he writes, it would just be phenomenal. Number 5, the Regency era is named after the Regency of George, Prince of Wales, who ruled in the stead of his father, King George III, from 1811 to 1820. If you had to appoint a regent to rule your booktube channel in your stead, who would it be? And this is a really hard question. So I'm going to give 2 answers because I'm going to cheat. So if I wanted to appoint other booktubers to rule my booktube channel, I'm going to choose 2 people that will rule together. And those are my bookish besties, Kate from the Literary Apothecary and Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia. We read Middlemarch together last year and just developed a really great friendship through that. And we all really have the same sense of humor, send each other funny memes and reels all the time. And I think they would do my channel justice and continue on with the vibe that I have and just make it a really fun, funny place. And I think they would rule well together. My second answer would be a non-booktube person to rule my channel. I would have to say my very best friend in the whole world, Shane. You saw him on my blindfold book cover challenge. He's a riot, he's chaos, he's incredibly intelligent, and I think that it would just create this amazing place that everybody could come and just hang out, and just make the channel better, honestly. Number 6, much literature of the Regency period is categorized as romantic. What word would you use to describe today's literature? I'm one of those people, I love classic literature, but I'm also just really amazed at where we're going with literature today. So I think not all of today's literature, but I think you could describe it as expansive and explorative. We've learned so much about humanity and how to be kind to each other and how to treat each other better and be more respectful and how to share your culture with the world through literature. And I think just what a lot of writers are doing now, there's just such cool concepts within speculative fiction and making translated literature more readily available to the world. And a lot of the translated literature I've read has just been mind-blowing to me and gotten me to think of things from a different perspective or in ways that I never thought about before. So I just think it's expansive and it explores such great concepts. So I'm really excited to see where things go from here. Number 7, Shakespeare's plays were popular during the Regency era. What artistic performance have you recently enjoyed? Movies, TV, and music can all count. So I have a very random mix of things for this. The new season of Queer Eye dropped that I am about to watch. I'm super excited. That is my go-to. I want to feel happy. I want to feel better about myself. I Want to Feel Better About Humanity show. Makes me cry every episode, but it's so good. I've also been on a huge Whose Line Is It Anyway kick. Like I said, my depression has been kicking back full force. So it's been really nice to watch something that's so laugh out loud funny. And just the things that they are able to do just with improv is incredibly impressive to me. Especially like Greatest Hits, where they make up songs on the spot. Just fantastic. And music, this is so out of left field for me. I am not usually a country music fan, but there is a musician that I discovered on Instagram about a year or so ago, Chase McDaniel, and I have loved following his social media and his journey. He talks about mental health and raising awareness for that, especially in a genre where it's not really talked about or you're really not supposed to talk about it. And his new EP actually just dropped a couple weeks ago, and I've been listening to it nonstop on repeat, and it's fantastic. So I'll link his channel down below. Like I said, country music is normally not my thing, but he has a really great rock country hybrid going on, and I love the things he talks about, and I just really love his music. I'm completely obsessed with it. And number 8 is the Regency period was characterized by high fashion. What is a current fashion or trend in the book community that you adore or detest? Detest is a strong word. I think one thing that doesn't vibe with my tastes are channels that it seems like they don't like anything, like their bread and butter is solely or mostly ranting about why they hated a book. And while I do normally like a good negative review, because it does sometimes lead me to books that I might not have picked up otherwise, too much of it is not my vibe. Things that I do like, I love the blindfold book cover challenge that started a while back. I did that with my best friend, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever done. Even if nobody else thought it was funny, just filming it was such a blast. I also love watching library hauls. I'm not opposed to book hauls. I do love seeing what people buy, but since the library means a lot to me, I have a library science degree. I really love seeing people using their libraries and supporting them and just like what they got for free from their library that other people can access as well. And finally, I love vlogs. I think vlogs are just timeless. There's something so relaxing about watching them, just following someone on their day-to-day life, what they're reading, some nice B-roll footage in there. Seeing all their pets is always a plus. So I really love watching vlogs. Jane Austen's novels show us the importance of etiquette in the drawing rooms of Regency, England. Tell us about your personal rating system. I actually don't really have a rating system anymore. I used to do the 5-star scale, and then I incorporated half stars. And I was just reading so many different kinds of books that it got to be overwhelming. The ratings didn't really feel genuine. I feel like I was forced to choose a star rating just for like Goodreads or Storygraph. And I would I would rate a cozy mystery a little bit differently than I would rate like a work of literary fiction or the magnum opus of a classic author. So I just decided to do away with rating books altogether. I try to instead write a little review of what I thought of the book. And that way it gives people some idea of what I thought about it. So yeah, I just did away with it altogether. I'm probably closest to my friend Evie's this does or does not spark joy system, where I liked it or I didn't really like it, and I just try to write reviews to expand on that. Which is probably a cop-out answer, but there you go. So yeah, that was the FebRegency Book Tag. No pressure, but I am going to tag my friend Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia and Dia from Novel Idea. I would love to hear their answers to this, and I know both of them have enjoyed Regency era work, so I think it would be fun to hear their answers. And consider yourself tagged if you are watching this as well. If you'd like to leave an emoji, leave a pink heart emoji. It's February. Let's celebrate love. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.